Hi, hello, hello, hi, and welcome to all our hearts and minds. Thank you again for tuning in. We're here to discuss all things that have been on our hearts and minds, the good, the bad, the concerning, and uplifting, or just straight talk. We're your hosts, Kimmy, our passionate heart,
Yeah, yeah.
and then there's me, Jeanette, our mind and chronic overthinker. Let's get into it.
Yes. Please and thanks.
Okay, we're back
Yes.
again for another episode. We had a little uh hiatus there. We posted up recently last week, but we're back again with a new episode. Thanks for listening. Just before we get into the checkup, I'll just wanted to say we're recording the week of Juneteenth, so happy Juneteenth. We are going to
Yes.
acknowledge that today in our headlines, but just wanted to say it's we always like to call out the holiday for the week that we
That's
record,
right.
and that's the one that we're going to acknowledge.
That's right.
And
Mm-hmm.
then also before we get into headlines, if you're still listening, please continue. If you enjoy our podcast and you tune in or you tune every once in a while or every week, just please remember to rate our podcast and give us a star on Spotify or like us or save us in Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And again, we're available on all platforms. So anywhere you listen to us, please engage, rate us, and that helps with all the algorithms and such. AI is taking over the world. So yeah, thanks again for tuning in, and we'll start with our checkup. Friend, how are you?
So you asked about the week. The week was a good week. Nothing to complain about. Don't want to complain. Trying to stay away from complaining. But all in all, I'm actually kind of happy that we're having an episode, recording this Saturday. There's a few things that it would be nice to discuss. So overall, week was good. How about your week? How were you?
This week was kind of a catch up week for me because I had went to Atlanta for work the week before this one, and so I was just playing catch up. And that's always annoying, whether it's vacation or work. Well, for whatever reason that you have to catch up on a few days' work, it's always like, shoot me now.
Right?
I hate to say it, but it's like,
Right?
get me out of
Yes.
here.
I hear
It's
you.
just a lot, right? So, but other than that, work is work. I'm okay. I'm doing all right.
Well, that's good that everything is all right around here. Sometimes reporting nothing is the best type of report that we can make. So yeah, that's awesome.
Okay,
Another week has passed of the summertime. I will say though, up here it's been hot as ever. It's been
good.
hot. It's been mucky and just hot outside. I'm enjoying the weather. I'm not complaining because it could
hmm
be something totally opposite.
It always change. It always is like that. Like in June, we get a couple of weeks and it's like hot, and then it gets very sporadic. The weather.
Well, I find that to be true with August.
No,
I feel
August is
like
no summer's done by August. Let done, but I mean it's just like you're
I feel
lucky.
like it's the hottest in August. That's how I feel. But I feel like, you know what, either which way, it's nice for the hot weather,
Mhm.
able to do more things and get out, just stay hydrated and, yeah, it's good weather
Okay,
though. Good weather. Mm.
nice. Okay, so we'll jump into the headlines. We're doing okay. So I'm just gonna start. I mentioned that it was the week of Juneteenth.
Mhm.
And Juneteenth has gotten a lot of so for those of us in the north up here in Canada and even in the northern states in and even in this northern part of the states, like Juneteenth is it wasn't something that was a big conversation for pretty much all the while, like for a long time, as far as I know, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And with the recent racial reckoning or whatever you want to call everything that happened after they murdered George Floyd, there was just a lot of importance on Black and African American equity and just like that community, and highlighting how can we highlight that community, how can we uplift that community, how can we acknowledge um, African Americans in the U.S. And Juneteenth was one of the things that popped up. It didn't pop up; it was always around, but I think it was really championed as a holiday.
Right.
And now in
Mm-hmm.
the US, for most progressive companies, of the company I work for, it's actually a holiday, so people don't work on Juneteenth, excuse me. And essentially what it is, if people don't know, and even I last year or last couple years, since it's resurged as a public holiday,
Right.
has looked it up, is it marks the day that the federal troops, after the Civil War, arrived in Galveston, Texas in 1865 to
Mm-hmm.
take control of the state since the North won and ensure that all enslaved people were free. And the troops arrived that time in 1865,
Mm-hmm.
and that 1865 was 2 years after, 2.5, almost 3 years after the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation, which freed the slaves. So
Mm-hmm.
the people in this Galveston, Texas, did not know they were free.
Can you
And so
imagine?
for two
Jesus.
years, almost extra years since that bill, the Emancipation Proclamation was signed, the people them were just having them still in a slavery.
Right?
So,
Never
anyways,
send out the memo. Never send
they
it
never
out.
they never sent out the memo. So yeah, President Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln, he signed it in 1863 and
Mm-hmm.
established that all enslaved people were to be free henceforth after the Civil War. And Galveston, Texas, decided not to tell the people, obviously, for they had their own
Of course.
reasons. And it has been considered, it honors pretty much, is pretty the significance, that's the story, but the significance is really to say that is the full official end of slavery in the United States, and it is considered the longest running African American holiday. And in June 17th, 2021, it became an official federal holiday. So, like
Mm-hmm.
I said, some people, there are some companies, I don't know if all the companies do it, but I know the progressive companies definitely today you don't have to work. So just want to say happy Juneteenth. And it's interesting because
Yes.
I've I think it's something that I heard rumblings of it. Particularly, I would say it was heavily acknowledged. People in the South, it's been a thing for a while.
Yeah.
So from, like, Texas, Atlanta, or sorry, Georgia, all the Mississippi, a lot of the southern states, it's been being acknowledged from time. But again, it's just really getting acknowledged for the whole country, and even for us up in Canada,
Mm-hmm.
since they made it a public holiday in 2021. And
Well, the Underground Railroad ended in
yes,
Canada. It
yes.
it
So
stopped in Canada, right? So like I could understand them celebrating Juneteenth. I think it's a huge
yeah,
significance for the community. I also think that it's a reminder. It's a
mm,
reminder of what actually transpired, that for additional 3 years people were slaves. And so when you think about the South, where slavery was really like a
mm,
really horrible experience,
mm,
um, I could see why they've been holding true to Juneteenth for so
yes,
long.
that's what makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes 100% sense, especially up in the north. Like you would think, New York and Chicago and places like that. Um, I can see why it's not that pronounced of a holiday, only
Mm,
because they were a lot of, like, black people were free in those
mm,
states. And
mm,
so but overall I'm happy that this is something that black people in America can really hold on to as a significant holiday and celebration of their freedom. And it's awesome to see that it has gone more national in the states, where
yeah,
all of the states are now recognizing it more and making a big deal of it,
yeah,
which it should be. Right, so it's, happy Juneteenth to all those people out there in the states and
yeah.
stuff. And as a Canadian, I can acknowledge slavery because it ended here. So if you go do your history, go back into history, you can see that you had a lot of Conrads in Canada that
Mm.
were helping to free people. So it's nice that it's a full circle moment, you
Full
know.
circle moment. And yeah, so that's Juneteenth. I found this year there was some awkward, like, commercializations, just like Pride, where they over commercialize, where they have Juneteenth
Mhm.
napkins and all. We've seen. I think we even
Mhm.
talked about this on the show, but I didn't
Mhm.
hear too much this year. So I think that some of the brands got the message a little bit.
Mhm.
They caught themselves a little.
Mhm.
All right, so we're gonna move on to Miss Ashanti, or should I say Mrs. Miss Ashanti is now
Okay, Miss
Mrs.
Ashanti.
And
Yeah.
she's been a Mrs. for over 6 months now. So
Okay, Miss Ashanti.
we
Okay.
um we were we were fun, jokingly talking about them getting back together. When they did get back together, there was a lot of
Mhm.
publicity or whatever, but we, in all seriousness, we were like, okay, it's okay to spin the block, but if you're gonna spin the block at this age and stage in your life, it better be serious, right? And so we were like, get the ring,
Right?
Ashanti, make sure you get the ring. Don't gallivant. This is not the time to
Go
gallivant.
listen, listeners. Go back to the episode you hear because I told you people there's no way he could come back to me unless it's on bended knee. So it's nice to hear that
Yeah.
they got married. It's very nice to hear because at this point, what else you gonna do? You guys already did the dating thing that went south. You guys come back together again. There has to be some sort of significance to this relationship.
Hmm.
So now, well, they done showed me Miss Ashanti off the market now. Nelly took up Ashanti quick time and in a hurry. Okay, not only did he in less than a year wife her up, but now he has her pregnant. She's about to break. She's about to bust people. I'm telling
Yeah,
you.
she's
If
about to
you've
have her
seen
baby,
Ashanti
and
lately,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
she's heavily pregnant.
right?
And so she told Entertainment Tonight that they were planning their marriage and everything, and they were at home watching TV. They're not sexy, and he proposed to her at home, and she was overjoyed. And it looks like not too long after that, they quickly got had some type of private ceremony. So I mean, I hope she didn't do this to please. I mean, everybody had something to say. Either way, whether she waited until she snatched back or she did it earlier, whatever it was pertinent for them and how they got married. The main thing, what you said, she got the ring.
That's
And
right.
so I'm very
But
happy for them and
yes.
congrats.
I am very happy for them, but I'm sorry. I just have to call out the elephant in the room.
What's
Okay, Chantel Jackson, who was his girlfriend for 7 years. This man is he is like Nelly. I can't do you sometimes. Okay,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
are you are a serial
Serial monogamous.
monogamous long
Mhm.
time relationship. But here's the thing: as a black woman, right? She waited around for 7 years,
The,
7 years
the
for
Chantel
this
woman?
man, the Chantel girlfriend,
Hmm,
okay,
hmm.
which was just before Ashanti, right?
Yeah.
So when he left, when he was single, he had just left a relationship with Chantel Jackson, who stuck around for 7 years. Okay, 7 years of this woman's life, you did not even marry her, you didn't wife her at all. Okay,
Hmm.
now turn around, and in less than a flipping year of being separated from this girl, you got married. You see these men out here? They ain't shit.
Yeah,
They
that's
ain't
why.
shit. No, but come on, man. Like she waited around. She was with him for 7 years of her life.
Yeah,
Nothing. And
some
then
women.
within a year's time, he not only married her, but he got her pregnant in less than a year. What a slap in the face to Chantel Jackson. But I'm gonna call that out. I just had to call that out because Chantel, 7 years, girl,
Mm,
gone, is gone, girl. Now he's married to Ashanti, the same woman that he was with before he met you. It's just you can't make this up. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
that is wild.
That is wild. Like, come on. The
They
same
could make
girl? Like, are you
make it.
serious? So what was I here for 7 years? I was a placeholder?
Well, you
Yes,
kind of
she
have to.
was.
You as
She
a
was a
woman too, you have to have
placeholder.
your boundaries. After if
This
that's
is my
what you want.
point. This is why I initially said, Miss Ashanti, he can't come back to you unless he's gonna marry you. Don't let him back. Okay, I don't care how much bags and stuff and cars and things he wants to buy you. It's a marriage you need to get from him. So it's nice to hear that Ashanti got exactly that. She got her little family. And hopefully, Nelly, don't act a damn fool. Okay?
Mm.
You got her back into your life. Make sure you keep her there. That's all I gotta say about
Yeah,
that.
he's over 50 years old. He better contain
Yeah,
himself. Not
yeah.
that that matters with men, but
Yeah, it does. It matters a whole lot because now at this age, he's like, oh shit, I need someone to take care of me.
mm.
Yeah, because these young girls in the street, they ain't up for that. Okay, they ain't up for cooking and cleaning and taking care of husband and thing. No. So now he's like, wait, hold on. Back up the train. I sold my whole catalog the other day, right? Not
Mm-hmm.
making any new music, right? Never heard of Nelly really involved with big investments, right?
Mm.
Like big
Mm.
investments, like Soldier Boy, and going with Nintendo and playing, making games and stuff. Was it Nintendo? Anyways, one of those game places. He, Soldier Boy was smart with his money. You know, so I don't hear none of that by Nelly, but he made sure he snatched him up some Ashanti. So good luck to them. I just wanted to mention it because remember I said, people, you can't come back to me unless you on bended knee. So it's a good thing that she got wifed up in this whole process because you would be out here looking stupid if you
Mm.
didn't. I'm just being a buck on that one. Moving on from Ashanti, you hear?
Yeah, we're gonna move on, and we're gonna go talk about another Juneteenth event, which was Kendrick Lamar's pop-up
Okay,
concert
Kendrick.
in
Okay.
LA that had social media on fire. Like I didn't know
Right.
what was going on. I just knew everybody was talking about it. It was definitely an iconic moment because yeah, he was in LA and had a pop up concert and had a bunch of people that showed up on stage, like Tyler the Creator, YG, Ty Dollar Sign, all pretty much big West Coast artists that are based out of LA
Mm-hmm.
or from LA that popped up, and I haven't seen any clips besides when he was performing "Not Like Us" back to back. So
Mm-hmm.
he closed the night performing "Not Like Us" back 5 times back to back, and I saw the clip. The audience was going crazy, lots of pretty good energy. And I mean, outside of the beef, it was also a big thing for their community, the LA community, because we know they have a lot of like gang wars. There's a bit of bloods,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like the Crips and the Bloods, and there's a
That's
lot
right.
of like Nipsey Hussle was gone from gang affiliation, and
Mm-hmm.
so it was a way to bring those people together, and that's what everybody outside of the beef energy and bring Drake into the conversation. It's really about bringing a community, unifying a community for a greater cause.
That's
And
right.
so obviously never gonna hate on that. There were some, of course, the internet is going to internet,
Right?
and
Okay.
and everybody was like, listen, yes, he performed, this is a pop-up concert, he's been on fire because of this beef, and so he's going to perform those songs because people are going to expect to hear those songs because that's why he's currently relevant again.
Mm-hmm.
And people are like, oh, this is like, oh, he's dancing on Drake's grave. He's kicking a dead horse. Like saying that, like he's pretty much saying he's doing it on purpose. I think he's giving the people what they want. I think we know Drake already graciously bowed out. Personally, I think. Um, I'd love to hear
I
if
don't think he
anyone.
had any damn choice. I
He
think
didn't have a
that
choice,
he
and he
didn't have no
did.
damn
He
choice. You
did
don't
what he
want
was
this beef
supposed
to
to do.
continue.
Like again, I'm not like listen. Drake lost, but he held his home. Okay,
He
and
held his own, but that here's the thing with that though, right? Is that
Mhm.
there's only so long he could have held his own.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think
So
he
he
needed to shut
graciously,
the hell up when he did, because
yes.
if he didn't, okay, Kendrick would have came out listen, from
Then
the
he really would
underground.
have been put in a grave. So I'm glad that Drake bowed out when he did.
He sure did.
And
Know when to fold
so
them. Know when to fold them.
we got it. Texas phone. I'm home.
Yes.
This ain't
No,
Texas.
no, but for real, like Drake didn't have a choice. Let's
Yeah,
just
he didn't
call
have
it
a
a buck.
choice, but he did it. And the main thing is he did it, and I think he did it at a good time. Let's just say whatever. So maybe that's my bias, but everybody was getting their shits and giggles. It's fine. It's the internet. But I was like, I wasn't getting that energy from Kendrick. I felt like Kendrick was giving the people what they wanted, which is obviously the songs from the beef because they're recent and they were good.
They are
Um,
good,
I
and
don't think. Yeah, go
mhm.
ahead. Go ahead.
No, but you know what? Here's the thing: is that like okay, Kendrick is going on a victory lap. You
Yes.
said that when we were talking about it, and I
Hmm.
agree with you 100%. He's on a victory lap, and let him victory all around the place. He won. He
Hmm.
won. He is the king. Okay, and I'm sorry, Drake, you had to bow out gracefully and take your role as second place king.
Hmm.
And that's just the straight truth. And I don't think that we should. I don't think the focus is anymore on the beef because the beef has been
That's
won.
my thing. I don't think it should be. That's what I'm saying. I saw that's the tone I got from like Twitter and online, and I'm like, no, 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 no. That's not. I feel like Drake is not in the battle anymore, so you can't say that. You can't say that. Oh, he's getting buried or whatever. He lost already, so
Yeah, yeah. At
Um.
this point, it's overkill. So, Drake. Ah, I think you need to go on a little bit of. I was saying this before the whole battle. I was saying he needed to go on a bit of a hiatus, and even
Yeah, he
he
needed to
said it
do
at
that
one
from time.
point.
Yeah, he said he was, and then I don't know. He
Well,
did.
this is a
This
good
guy did like
time.
2 tours or something like.
Yeah, this is the time. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But Kendrick, thank you for the pop up concert.
Yes, I'm gonna. I think it was covered by Amazon, so I'm gonna see. Like Amazon was tweeting about it and everything, and he has done concerts where Amazon. Yeah, I think he has a deal with Amazon. So if it's not on Amazon yet, it's gonna. I feel confident it will be on Amazon. So that's when I'll try and
Well,
catch
I
the
saw
show.
clips of it and it looked live.
Yeah,
That's all I gotta say.
yeah,
Kendrick
definitely.
knows how to command
But
the attention of the crowd.
he was always a great performer. I love to
Yes,
see him
yes.
perform.
And when I saw him perform at the halftime of the football
Oh my
game,
god,
which one I
yeah.
don't remember which football game. I'm not up for the
It's a
football. I'm
Super
there
Bowl.
for the halftime. And when he was there, and I was just like, he's so talented and he's so artistic. This man had a full formation going on the field.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, and dead center is him. He's right along with it all. Like I really think that this is what God has gave him a talent, and
Oh,
he's
of
very
course.
talented,
And you know
very
what?
very talented.
Before we move off of the topic, actually, I saw a video from Snoop Dogg, and he was like, "Yeah,
Yes,
Kendrick is the king of
yeah,
L.A. or
Emma
something to that."
Cronin, Emma
He crowned him,
Cronin.
and
Mm-hmm.
I think I feel like he officially was crowned already, but I guess for him to say it in the context of this event that he put on, it's like now it's like it has holds a whole different weight. Like it seems very official. I feel like he was to me he was already unofficially the like in terms of modern times like it
Yes,
was. But
yes,
yeah,
but when you have people like Snoop Dogg passing the torch,
yeah.
right? It means a lot, and I think Kendrick, you did the damn thing, man. You did the damn thing, and I'm super proud of to see where you're what you're doing, and staying so humble while doing it. I think that's the part that really attracts me to him.
Hmm.
Is that
Oh, I
he
love
is
him.
very humble with what he's doing. Like he's down to earth still. Like he
Yeah,
hasn't let the industry come and corrupt him.
exactly.
So
Pride. Yeah.
yeah, but yeah,
um yeah. When he first came out, I thought he was so cute. He was like, because he's so intense, but
yes,
he's like, he has that like cutesy kind of face. Because look, I thought he looked like a little teddy bear because he's not very tall, he's
no,
not very big, and he looked very. I don't want to say childlike, but he didn't look. He still kind of
he
looked
has a
like a
baby
child.
face. He has a
That's
baby
what I'm trying to say.
face.
He had a baby face, and it's not
Yeah.
until really recently where he grew the facial hair, and it's gotten
Right.
even more life as he's been lifing, where he's really started to look more like like more of a grown up, that's grown. So yeah, big ups to him. All right, so I will move on into. Oh, okay. So it's summertime, and you know what's happens in the summertime? People go to amusement parks. They open up,
Mm-hmm.
right? The amusement parks start making their money, opening their doors,
Right.
and so I found this story that's relevant to us here. So our biggest amusement park locally for us here in Toronto is Canada's Wonderland, right? And we can remember the days where every summer you'd want to at least go once if your parents
Yeah.
if your parents were really bawling and hype, and
Right.
you'd get the season's pass. Everybody had the season's
Mm-hmm.
pass. I'd be like, damn, you're lucky. But at
Right.
least you try
Mm-hmm.
and go once, especially in high
Mm-hmm.
school and older. I didn't really start going to Canada's Wonderland, to be honest, until I was in high school. That's just that's
No,
just what it was.
you're not alone. Myself too. My
I,
parents
I didn't
weren't
know. I
about
didn't
that
even know what
life.
the hell. Yeah, I didn't really know what it was until I was in high school. But yeah, so they're known for the bat. They had the Top Gun ride is a popular one where you sit and your legs are dangling. They have they have some new ones that I went on. It's like the green one. I can't even the behemoth. Oh yeah, god damn the behemoth. Woo, the behemoth. And then drop zone, which is the free fall. Those are the big ones that everybody
Mm-hmm.
thinks about. Anyway, I came across this article where they're probably getting ramping up for the summer now, and there were
Mm-hmm.
people stuck on multiple rides at Canada's Wonderland
Mm-hmm.
last
Yup.
weekend, and they were sharing, and it was a widespread on Instagram and TikTok. And so anytime anything gets viral on TikTok, everybody's losing their shit. But I know I saw a video of people stuck on the bat, and people, the way the bat works is you are um
Aren't you upside down?
you go backwards once. You go backwards once, and it locks. Like you take a slow trickle backwards, and it locks, and then you go really fast forward, and then you go through the loops 2 times, and it locks, and you go really fast backwards, and that's the
Mm-hmm.
ride. So you can imagine it when it locks, you're stuck up there. That's like the image, the video that I saw. They weren't in the loop, but if they were in the loop, heaven help you, I wouldn't want to be trapped in a loop. That would cause me panic, because then all the blood's rushing to the front
Right?
of your head. But I think it's harder for it to get locked on a loop, because usually it's a momentum. If I understand, know the mechanics of roller coasters, the loop is really getting pushed through the momentum of the speed of the
Listeners,
car.
let me tell you something. Jeanette is gonna have this section of the conversation by herself because guess what?
You don't do
I
roller
don't do
coasters?
none of the rides. I'm the person that's on the ground
Even when you
holding the
were little,
coats.
you never did any roller coaster ever in your life.
Listen, I
I
like
mean, I
solid
know you did it
ground.
once. I know you did it once, and you said maybe never
When I
again.
was in high school and I had more gall and I had more, I did it. I did go on those rides once, but they didn't
Mhm,
have all of what you're talking about back then. They had
mhm,
like I don't even remember, to be quite honest with you. I like to be on solid ground. I'm the person
mhm.
that's usually holding the coats. I'm holding the bags. I'm the guy. I'm that person, right? Um, but I did do it at one point. I'm not gonna say that I have never ever tried it. It doesn't sit well with me. I'm
Mhm.
one of those people who you come off a ride and you see them in the corner throwing up. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
feel. You know what? I've had that feeling before as well.
right?
But I could tell you the last time I went to an amusement park as an adult, I definitely, because again, I'm a go on the rides, but
Right?
I was so sore. I felt like did I do a box the next day? I was like, did I do a boxing match?
See?
My whole body hurt,
See?
because you don't realize it is that you're getting jostled a lot. You're probably moving using a lot of muscles you don't use to kind of stay steady,
Yeah, to hold
and you don't
yourself
think about
still.
that as a young
Hmm.
person, because at least me, I guess I could think maybe I was more active and more agile as a, I don't know, 20-year old versus like
Yeah, when I was, 15, 16, years old, 15, 16, 17, yeah, I
mhm.
was able to handle that, right? But I did go in my early 20s once,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I was like the swings and I was like, "Oh no. Oh no." I'm on the swings, the little kids looking at me like, "Really, lady?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm that lady. Yeah, this is enough. Can we slow it down? Why we no need to go so fast?" Like, I'm that person. So, it's good that I do have a spouse that is into that.
Mhm.
Because I'm
You
not
can go.
doing it. I'm sorry. They look rickety tickety to me. Okay.
They are, some of them actually are,
Well,
but
look,
okay.
look at
So
what's
here's
happening. People getting stuck in shit.
they're
Like,
getting
you
stuck.
see?
So here's the list of the rides, just if you guys want to know, if you guys frequent Canada's Wonderland. So people got stuck on the bat, like I just described for you. People got stuck on a Riptide. I don't know. I don't know if that's a water. That's a new. I don't know. I
See?
can't visualize that one. People got stuck on Windseeker, and oh shoot, somebody got stuck on Behemoth, which is a big one. That's the big. That's a big daddy one. That's the
Mm.
one you better have some chest on you to go on.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
No,
Behemoth
thank you,
is
ma'am.
wild. It's bringing back memories. So yeah, so that's what's going on in Canada's Wonderland. But I mean, we always hear this. That's why
Yeah.
my strategy is I never go in the beginning. We have the Canadian National Exhibition, which is a CNE,
Mm-hmm.
where they bring all the fair rides, which is even more risky. But that's what I know.
Yes, it's
But
even more
I
risky, people,
It's
because
even
it's
more
even more
risky.
rickety tickety.
It,
Okay.
yeah. So
At
I
least
usually
Canada's
wait
Wonderland is a location where, like, it's a
regular
full,
maintenance.
park ground where it's being maintained, and so on and so forth. When the X comes to town,
Mhm.
like, I'm
They're here for
sorry,
two
some of them,
weeks.
roller coasters and things that they have. I'm like, listen, those look older than me, bro. Like, those look like they're old, and you're putting this up for like the umpteenth year. Okay,
Yep,
no.
that's facts.
Okay, no thanks. Do you
So
see
I
why
always
I like
say
solid ground, everybody?
I used to always just go on the second week. I was like, and I ain't going on the first week. They need to get those well greased, maintained, get them
See,
stabilized.
there has to be a whole
And I go on the
strategy to
second
this.
week of. You have to have a strategy. I ain't going on that first week on those rides.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah. So yeah, that just brought me down to memory lane.
mm-hmm.
Okay, and then finally, before we move on to our first segment, Fox Soul, the show TGIF,
It
which
mash up.
there was some drama that went down this week between the some of the co-hosts, which are new
Mm-hmm.
co-hosts, which is something Wiggins and Al Reynolds.
Armand Wiggins.
Wiggins um,
Yes.
went on a tirade on a roast. Oh, it was a birthday roast of Al Reynolds. But to me, what I watched, that was more than a roast. That was like, whoo,
He
he
checked
cooked.
him so hard, my
He
lord.
was. I was like, is this a roast or is this like a airing out of whatever? So he went on. He went in on Reynolds on that show TGIF on Fox Soul. It usually has was it L Reynolds, Claudia Jordan, Armand Wiggins was a new person, and am I missing somebody, or is it
Claudia
just this?
Jordan
That's it. Claudia Jordan, Armand Wiggins,
and Al
and
Reynolds. That's the
oh, it's
three.
always there's always three. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and I was thinking, and then Funky Dineva left earlier, so Armin Wiggins was Funky Dineva's replacement.
Replacement, yeah.
And we must say, for the context of this, these are two gay men. It does play a factor. You don't want to say it
Right.
plays a factor, but when it comes to reading and roasting, nobody's gonna roast like a gay dude. So
Put you in the check. Okay, put
he
you in
we
the
went
check.
he went ham. He said, Al, you're a man of many talents, some of which include being messy, causing drama, having a knack for making the workplace. The first stuff is cute, but having a knack for making our workplace feel like a reality TV show. Al's got a unique ability to smile in your face, snap a picture, and go behind your back and talk about you to your coworker
See,
that
you're
he
doing too
claims
much.
he hates. Like he got a PhD in two-faced studies.
Oh my god. Like,
Ooh.
can we just simmer it down? Can we
Um,
simmer it down, people? That is a read and a half. The part
we're
where he
talking
said,
about work when we move from and he said as if, and he closes out with it. This is how he said some other stuff, but I want to just close out because it has context of what happened next. As if that wasn't enough, Al is currently on a mission to get our talk show canceled. His
yeah.
nasty,
Mhm.
childish, slightly jealous attitude is working overtime to torpedo our show.
You imagine?
It's like he's auditioning for a soap opera villain role. So
Wow.
here's to you. May your future be as drama free as your past has been drama filled. Happy birthday. And yeah, that was supposed to be a roast,
On
but
the man's birthday. I just, listen, I'm too sensitive for roast. You hear?
yeah,
Don't bother with that
roast
with
culture.
me.
When I see those roasts, I'm like, yeah, yeah, I couldn't. Me? That's why it's usually celebrities. Let me tell you, I better be rich and like swimming in things before I let anybody roast me in a public setting.
I'm way too damn sensitive. I'm sorry. Don't even bother. I'm not even going to be a part of that game because I will knock a bitch out. Okay, I will just. I'm coming for the jugulars. Um, no, and you know what? One thing that I did want to mention that I found really, really, really mean was when
Mm.
he said that Al seems to be friends with a lot of celebrities, but they don't know that they're supposed to be friends with him. And
Oh,
I was
dry.
like, dry, because okay, I watched TGIF, okay, which that's the show that they're a part of.
Yeah. Hmm.
And so I watched it, and it was nice to hear the commentary. And Al is really knowledgeable about a lot of things. He's not always right
He's
with
like the
what he's
balanced
saying.
person.
Yeah, he is the balanced person. And Armand, he's like, I think he's trying to fill big shoes. And
Funky
Funky
Dinevas.
Dineva, he has a personality like no other. And I
Yeah.
think Armand has one too. However, I feel like they're trying to mold Armand
Oh
into
no,
what
that's never
Funky
gonna work.
was,
Mm.
right? And it's not going to work. And so it's just not fitting. And I think that, there was a lot going on behind the scenes that we weren't privy to, as obviously,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
spectators. We didn't know what was going on, but in the beginning of the show, Claudia Jordan and Al Reynolds were friends, and
Mm,
there was some backstabbing, nonsense in the back. And there's been a lot of back and forth in the last week about the
mm,
show. And we come to find out that, Al's been talking, running his mouth about Claudia to Armand, to anybody who basically will listen. And
mm-mm.
he's been saying a lot of disparaging things about her, to the point where he got caught. He had to apologize, and also and ever since then, obviously, the work environment was not the best. And so Funky Dineva, he caught wind and said, deuces. Yeah, and he left quick time and in a hurry, and he's doing quite well on his own. There were other reasons why he left.
Mhm.
Money was one of the,
Yes.
big parts of why he left. However, he's making more money on his own anyhow. So,
Mm,
you know, um, they brung in Armand, and I feel like he's a good fit for the role, but
mhm.
not for the cast. Like, or not the cast,
Okay.
but the other two.
He doesn't fit with the other
No,
two.
I feel like they're generational. There's a gap.
That's
I
true.
feel like there's Armand is very outlandish with some of the things that he says, and I think
Mhm.
that both Claudia and Al are well seasoned in this game, so they know how to approach things and say things. Now, a lot of people don't watch celebrities reporting on celebrities, and I
Yeah.
totally understand that, and I can see why. They're going to be a little bit more guarded with what they
Yes, you're
say,
right.
and so on. And Armand is just not that. So Al and Claudia, they know how to be on a show that talks about people that they have, that they'll see about the place,
Mm.
that they have in common because they're in the industry, and they know
Yeah.
how to deal with that. Versus Armand couldn't give a shit, as you see with this read, right? Um, Al, I think he's kind of conniving.
Hmm.
He always crossed me as that type of person. He seems like the type of person that will throw rocks and hide their hands. So
Yeah.
he seems like the type of person who will do all of this nonsense behind the scenes, but in actuality, he can't stand you. He'll
Mm.
smile in your face. He is two faced, I think, personally. And there was a short clip that we heard after this whole roast where Al went to Funky, which many times on the show, him and Funky were butted heads, but he went to Funky, and you got to see just a little snippet, hear a little snippet of the true Al talking to Funky Dineva about what had happened. And you could tell the real Al was coming out.
Mm.
Um, and I can appreciate that he, felt some sort of way. But here's the thing, let's keep it a buck. You didn't like what he said, you didn't like the roast, then why were you laughing? I know you have to stay professional, but you could have just smiled and looked cute and went about your way. You did too much. 20 years ago, I was told.
Hmm.
You did too much. In my eyes, you did too much. Oh, yeah, that was ratchet and I loved it. No, you didn't, because as soon as you got off the live, you're calling Funky Dineva with your tattoo tears and getting all, oh well, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a. Okay, calm down, Al. Like, calm down. Okay, you got red. Just take your reading and go sit down with it. You understand? But instead, we got to see a little bit of the real Al, and so now it's up in the air. People don't know what's going on. They're saying that it's canceled. Then Armand is saying they're going on vacation. Claudia seems to be saying that it's canceled. She's trying to save her baby. This was her whole idea,
Mm,
which Nene Leakes would probably beg to differ, because Nene Leakes reported a long time ago that this was her idea. And as a matter of fact, and when I say the idea, what I mean specifically is having a part of, the LGBTQIA community,
mm,
and a platform for them to express themselves in their community. And so Claudia supposedly took that idea from Nene Leakes, because she already had kind of started it. And
mm.
so now it's her baby. She's trying to save it. We don't know what's happening. But what we do know is we can't see no damn shows. These people are supposed to be on 5 days a week, haven't seen a show since this whole roast.
Yeah, shoot. Yeah, yeah. So you're right. I think there's different sources. I have seen somebody said that Al's feelings were hurt, and that led to the cancellation. Oh, but it was cancellation of a show, but it's like an episode, but not the whole show. So I'm sure they'll, like, I don't know how they're doing. Like, I don't know, like, numbers wise, like how they perform or
Well,
what. So
initially, when Funky Dineva was on the show, because, okay, so who started the show was Funky Dineva, Al, and Claudia, and
mm,
they were doing good numbers. And
mm,
they weren't every single day. They were, I think it ended up being every other day, or was it like maybe twice a week or something like that, if I recall. They've been
mm,
on the air for about 4 years now, right? And so when they initially started in the midst of the pandemic, it was every I think it was maybe once a week or twice a week or something like that.
yeah.
And then they went from twice a week to 5 days a week, right? So that
Mm.
shows an influx
Oh yeah.
of people on that are listening and tuning in.
Mm,
And they
mm,
were about, just under 400K. Then
mm,
400,000 people were watching. Um and then Funky Dineva left, and they kind of
mm,
dropped back down to around roughly around 300,000,
mm.
and they have been slowly declining, and at
Ever since,
times
yeah.
just staying the same.
Mm,
So they have more shows, they have a new, cast member, or I guess talk show host,
mm,
somebody, co-worker, whoever, Armand. And Armand says a lot of shocking things, but I think he lacks education, and he lacks
mm.
research. He doesn't really do the research. He at times he's like me. I'm a passionate person, so when I hear something, I'm like passionate to respond to it.
Yeah.
Versus Al, he wants to do the full, 411 digging behind it, and hey, everybody has their own style. But right now, Fox Soul Foxhole people, you need to define what the hell is happening, because you will lose your followers quick, fast, and in a hurry. You have one of these people. Armand is saying that they're going to come back. They're just on vacation. Then Claudia seems like the show is canceled. She's trying to save something. Why would you try to save something if you're coming back to it?
Yeah,
Anywho,
so clearly something's going on behind the scenes.
it's
Well,
a lie. Yeah.
hopefully hopefully it works out, I like Claudia, and I mean, they obviously have a following, so we'll see. All right, we will move on into our first segment, and that is Lord of Mercy.
Lord have mercy, Jesus, and peace.
And so that's going to be quite literal this week.
Right?
And this segment is where we see news that you read it, you hear it, and you just have to say, Lord, take the wheel.
Please.
Lord, have mercy. It's crazy. And so this week we're going to be talking about the bishop known as the Bling Bishop, real name Lamar Whitehead. Um,
Mm-hmm.
And we were seeing him online for a lot of reasons with his crazy suits. He was also in the news because he, in his church, a woman was singing in the church and he grabbed them, told her to stop singing. There was some weirdness. And he's also known for being quite flashy. And there was also a story about one of his, somebody in his congregation who gave him money based on what he said. So it's like something he basically took over the woman's house. I don't remember the story, but he took over one of his somebody in his congregant's house, which is obviously fraud under false pretenses. And he said he was going to do something with the money with the church, but he really just spent it on himself. All right, so that's to give you the kind of character we're talking about here with Lamar Whitehead.
Yes, he's a conniving, he's a conniving man. He's been doing a lot of fraud.
A
He's
lot, yeah.
a
He's
lot of
basically known.
fraud.
Oh yes, this is where he first came on the scene. I was trying to remember.
Mm-hmm.
So where he first came on the scene is when he basically staged a hijack. Like they
That's
got
right.
his church got. Well, we thought. Well, allegedly, um, that his church was hijacked, and it was just him or him and a few congregants, and they came and robbed everybody or they robbed the place, but it was like it just looked weird. If anybody sees a video of that, it was always weird. That's how I first heard of him, because it
Right?
looked like he staged the robbery. Okay, so now he was found guilty in March of 2 counts of wire fraud, as well as 1 count of attempted wire fraud and attempted extortion, and making false statements to the federal law enforcement, federal law enforcement. In addition to his prison sentence, which he was sentenced to 9 years, which
Not
wow,
enough,
like
if you ask me.
not
But
enough if you ask me. But the fact that he even got sentenced, he was sentenced to 3 years of supervised release in order to pay 85K in restitution, and yeah, so the statement from the U.S. attorney from the New York district: Lamar Whitehead is a con man who stole millions of dollars in a string of financial frauds and even stole from one of his parishioners. That's the story I was talking about. He lied to federal agents and again to court at his trial. Today's sentence puts an end to Whitehead's various schemes and reflects his office's commitment to bring accountability to those who abuse their positions of trust. Yeah, I'm so happy. Okay, yeah, that was the story. He made headlines in 2022 after he said he and his wife were robbed of 1 million worth of
yeah, and
jewelry in
he
their church.
supposedly on live or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. It was very fishy. So that's how I first heard of him, and there it was, and it was fake. It looked fake. I saw the video. It looked fake as
Yeah, 100%
fuck.
fake, as far
I'm
as I'm
happy.
concerned.
Me, I'm
No,
not.
that's
I
an
don't care about
insurance.
him.
That's an insurance scheme that he had
Clean.
right
Yeah,
there.
exactly. It was clear,
Um,
and that's probably what really got him under fire. He was probably doing this all along, but he didn't bring attention to the federal police until this story.
right,
Because if you're accusing somebody of stealing $1 million worth of jewelry, something in the milk ain't clean, as they
right.
say.
It ain't clean. No, and you know what? Sad about this situation, and why I say "Lot of mercy"
Mm,
is because he did this under the pretenses of being a godly man
mm.
and a man that was preaching to a congregation of people. You said it best yesterday when we were briefly talking about this, that it's one thing if you're going to go out there and use the church to benefit yourself. But he took it a step farther and went out to his congregation himself
Mm,
and took up these people who, look at him as not just an authority, but a godly man. There are obviously, parishioners that are coming to the church to give to God. And he took that and he ran with it, and he used people and he lied to people and with his corrupt self. Now, there's a real, there's a special type of hell for men like that. There's a special type of hell because you're
mm,
using the pretenses of the Lord God, right? And so this man, 9 years is not enough. It's not
mm,
enough. I'm going to tell you, you can see in 2022 This man would go on live, go showing off all of his goods and what he has and all of his clothes and his designer this and that and the third. Okay? This was corruption at its finest. And he got caught. And he got caught because he started to get lazy. He started to get um,
Yeah, he's very egregious, based on what I'm
very,
reading here.
very much so. And, God is not asleep. So, he thought he was going to get away with it, but the Almighty Lord was looking at him. And not only are you going to go have to sit down for 9 years, okay? But you can't pull this again when you come out because it's all over the damn
Now
place.
it's all now. If he manages to fool anybody after this, then who's the fool? You know what I
Right?
mean?
You have to
At
ask the
this
question,
point, I hate to say it.
right?
So
Because
yeah,
big media is also talking about this. So it's not just amongst the community, it's like big media is talking about this. And so, I'm really happy that he was sentenced to 9 years,
yeah, he's very wicked
and that he's off the street and he's not in the pulpit of a church preaching and lying to people
and stealing from
and
people.
stealing from people, doing the exact opposite of the words that he was probably preaching. But I want to say one thing,
Mhm.
particularly with this episode. We had a long time ago, listeners, go back. I'm telling
Oh,
you, is there.
church going to church all black?
Thank you, Jeanette. We had a whole flipping damn segment on going to church while black. Okay. And we said in that segment, be careful, beware, use your discernment.
Mm.
Okay? Do you see why? Do you see why we were saying this? Because you have to understand, if you're going to go worship God, you have to be focused on God. And if you're focused on God, you will have discernment. You could even pray for it and it'll give it to you. Okay? Don't let people like this pull you away from what God's goodness is. Okay, because this ain't it. Like what he was doing was not God's goodness at all, but it was God good. It was God's goodness that he got exposed, that people are aware of him, that people know, and also it's a wise tale that we need now to focus. That when we're in these situations, use your discernment when you're listening to the pastor. I'm sorry, I don't connect with pastors that are prosperity preachers.
Mm.
I'm not down with that because really and truly, the only thing for us to prosper is God. So the only thing I need to hear from someone is how do I get closer to God.
Mm.
So the prosperity and you're gonna make this and you're gonna get that. No, 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 no. The closer I get to God, He's gonna give it to me anyway. So I don't need to do all of these extra shenanigans. But again, to bring light to the church, because this doesn't happen all the time and everywhere. Is it there? It's there. It's out here. However, it doesn't happen all the time. And I just don't want people to get discouraged by people like him. Of actually praising the Lord and going to church and getting closer to Jesus Christ and understanding what really is popping in this world, okay? Don't let people like him deter you from that. Just be a little wiser. Just ask a little bit more questions. Just keep open communication with other people in your congregation. Don't be isolated by men like him. Do not
Mm.
fall prey. Do
Mm.
not fall prey. And so it's so sad that he used, the church and God to do all these people so wrong. And for all those people that were done wrong by this man, Lord Jesus, have mercy on you. Okay? He will have mercy on you. You're getting to see justice at the very least, right? So, man, Lord of mercy, this man and him just thief out the people their money. Shame of yourself. You should be ashamed.
So what that actually reminds me we're talking about is so funny. I watched The Shy on Showtime,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the
Mhm.
characters, the younger characters, their father is like a old school pastor. He's a good pastor. He's for the community. All the things that you believe a good pastor is, with involved.
Mhm.
Some things happen. It's a drama, so some things happen. But that person, spoiler alert, he dies. I won't say how, but he dies. And there's a new pastor that is trying to encroach on that young man who believed in his father. His father never believed in prosperity. um, pastors that preach on prosperity preaching and stuff like that. And so it's like I feel like this character, Pastor Ezekiel on The
Mhm.
Shy, is literally fashioned after um, Bishop Lamar Whitehead. So anybody who watches and seen it, let me know what you think about that, because it's just giving me so many
Right?
keys, everything, even down to the way that the glasses that the character wears is similar
Mhm.
to the type of glasses
Mhm.
that Lamar Whitehead wore. But lot of
Mhm.
mercy that this man stole and everything, but the Lord has had mercy and getting justice for the people that he robbed from, because he
Amen.
stole from parishioners who were old. He took their retirement savings.
Life
So
savings for some of
so
these
screw
people.
him. May he burn in hell. I don't care.
Right?
I'm gonna
There's a
say it.
special type of hell waiting for you. Don't
All
you
right.
worry. Mhm.
So yeah, we're gonna go into our Wagwan for
For
real.
real.
And in this segment, we look at stories that just don't add up. They don't make sense. We hear
Mm-mm.
them or we see them, and we have to ask the hard question: what a guan for real?
For real.
So this week, oh boy, whoo, this could have been a Lord of Mercy as well.
Right?
But Remy Ma's son, who I
Mm-hmm.
believe is
Young man.
21, very
Jesus.
young. He is Jason Scott, and he was arrested for first degree murder charges and a shooting that happened in June 2021 in New York. He
Mm-hmm.
right now today is 23, and at the time of the shooting, that was 3 years ago. He would have been 20 at the time of the shooting.
My
And this
God.
is Remy Ma's son. I'm assuming he lives a
Mm-hmm.
comfortable life, even if they're not like billionaires.
Yes,
I'm sure
Papoose made sure of it.
yes, I'm
Papoose.
sure this boy lives quite a comfortable life. So how in the hell
Right?
are you gonna be
Did we get here? Please say.
charged for murder? And supposedly in one of the articles I think I saw, it was a murder for hire almost.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
what I get. Like it wasn't like he doing streets, like I don't know. Street
No, that's
stuff
what
could
I've
be
been
so many
hearing
things.
myself. I've been
So
hearing the
that's
same.
the gist of
Mm-hmm.
the story, is that he was a murder for hire. It wasn't like self defense or anything like that. So she recently I think made a statement and claimed obviously she can only say this, but claimed her son's innocence and says she's fully supporting him throughout the process. Remy Ma wished to address this situation personally, but has been advised by her our office, which is her lawyer, not to say anything publicly, as most people in the situation are in this case still in most people in this situation are, as the case is still active. It's an active case. Obviously, she can't talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
To be clear, Jason Scott is innocent, and Remy Ma is committed to proving his innocence and fully supporting her child during this time. That is all she can do.
That's right.
So yeah, that's crazy. It was everywhere. Like I saw this on multiple
I
the
was
story.
sad when I saw it.
It's so sad, and this story is not just on the black blogs or the black publications. It's everywhere. Like I saw it on CNN. I saw it on Billboard. I saw it like every. It's kind of big. So
It's a big because
mhm.
I don't know if everybody knows this, but Remy Ma did some time herself.
Yes, yeah,
Okay. For a good portion of this same young man's life.
that's
Okay.
true.
Remy Ma was in jail because she too, I think it was attempted murder, if I'm
Yeah,
not
because
correct.
but because she was in a fight. She used a bottle to hit somebody, or she was in a
Yeah,
very
no, I think she was gonna shoot somebody over money.
okay.
And supposedly the girl was her friend.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the girl tried to steal from her,
Mm.
and that didn't go over well. And Remy Ma was in jail for it. And so It just speaks to, the leadership. Like, the this is the example that you gave your son,
Mm,
right? And Papoose kept him out of the streets,
mm.
right? But Remy Ma has been on one as of late. I don't know what's going on with her. She seems to be out to lunch. Um, but it's
She seems
sad.
to be out to
Yeah,
lunch.
she does. There's
Hmm.
something, I don't know. I don't know. But Remy, I think this is really sad to see that your son, he's gonna do some time, and unfortunately,
This
he
is
might not do the
serious.
same
Yeah.
amount of time that you did.
No.
Okay, this might be the last time he'll be free, and that we
Mm-mm.
know of it. Um, because this type of murder to hire, huh? What you talking about? That means that you kill people for money? Oh, okay. So then this is not your first rodeo. This is just the first time you got caught. It's sad because he's a young man that had his whole life ahead of him.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, this is the route. Now, I am gonna keep my ear to the ground to see what goes on with that. And I can't wait to hear more of how it unfolds. But I mean, like mother, like son.
Ooh, ooh. Mm-mm. No.
Sorry.
Is that what you? Ooh, Kimmy.
Yeah, I'm
And
sorry.
you're
Like
you're
mother,
a
like
diehard.
son.
You're a diehard Remy fan. Damn,
I
girl.
am, but Remy, it's one thing you want to be out in these streets, girl.
Mm,
Okay, but Remy has been on a downward spiral as far as I'm concerned because listen, Papoose was your rock. And I'm gonna give Papoose his credit, okay? Papoose is a wicked, wicked rapper. If you
mm,
ever take time to go listen to him, especially from back in the day till now, he can rap and he held her
mm,
down and he loved her. And from what I'm hearing, allegedly, she was cheating on him with a pretty much a nobody.
mm,
And so now I'm seeing that your son is now being charged with murder, and not just murder because defense,
mm.
murder for hire.
That's what's crazy. That's
That's
crazy
what's
to me.
that's what I can't rock with. So I'm sorry, Remy, like mother, like son.
Mm-mm.
That's the example
Damn.
that you set, girl. You're lucky that you had a man to hold down your son long enough where he wasn't in jail from he was 16, 15, 14 years old. What do you mean for
Mm-mm.
hire? Huh? This young man is murdering people for hire? Look how attractive he is. Such a beautiful young man. Now, that's one less black man that we have on the street or in the world. Not on the street, but in the world. So, yeah, I'm going to call a spade a spade. I mean, what do you think you taught your son? What do you think you taught him? So, my question is, Remy, why is your son an assassin?
He's a
What?
gunman.
I'm for real. Why is your
Your
son a full assassin? I can't.
your son turned into a gunman?
What
Really?
the hell is doing here? What are we doing?
He didn't have to just go to college and look pretty and just, you know.
Like the rest of them, we can't just be happy with the homecoming dance. We can't. No, we're out here killing people for money. And my question now is, this is my for real,
Mm,
Wagwan for real. How the
mm.
hell could he make his way into an industry like that?
I mean, I don't know where they live. I don't know what
Your
they like.
mama and daddy are in the music industry. Okay. How the hell do you make your way into the assassin industry? How do you do it?
Yeah, that's why you make a good point. I would like to see the full story here
I'm
because
gonna keep my ear.
some it's just not adding up.
No, it don't make a no sense. Just like I can't speak no English. This don't make a no sense.
Is
Okay,
this
it don't
boy
make no sense. You have parents that are in the music industry. How the hell do you get yourself mixed up with murder for hire? What you talking about?
is this boy Papoose' son?
No, that's
He's not?
that's why we are talking about papoose.
It's so weird because he looks like him.
No, it's not his son. It's Remy's
Okay.
son.
Okay,
It's
okay,
Remy's son.
okay.
When before they got married,
Mhm.
Remy had a kid, and I think he had two or three kids. I think he had
Mhm.
two kids.
Mhm.
And while she was in jail, he held down her son. You see what I'm saying? So this young man could have been out in the streets, out in the thick of things way earlier in his
Mhm.
life. Okay? But we gonna find out more. We gonna find out more because maybe he was. I'm just trying to understand, how do you have parents that are music, they're rappers,
Yeah.
and you're in the industry for hiring and murdering? What?
Yeah, that's wild.
So, Wagwan for real, Remy. For real, for real. I'm gonna ask Remy too, because Papoose wasn't the one in jail. Okay, if you go back,
Right.
if you go back and listen to Papoose rap, he'll tell you to keep how to
But it's
keep your ass
also
out of
it's
jail.
something
Okay.
else too. I think we have to remember is when some of these people, again, like Remy Ma is successful, but I don't know. Like, listen, I'm not trying to count her pockets, but she also didn't really go mainstream.
No,
Like she,
because she got locked up just before she could have.
yeah, exactly, right. But I know she keeps a check coming, so I know she's
Yeah,
okay.
because
But then my
Papoose, that's why
question,
I
so
keep talking about Papoose, because he held her ass down. Like, he literally held her down. He kept her relevant. He
but
kept her fed in jail. He kept her name on the street. Like,
but so what I was trying to say is that even though sometimes they're well off or whatever, but they
hmm.
don't really fully move out of the hood, like so
Well,
I wonder
yeah,
if
you
it's a
can't take
case
the
that
hood
I
sometimes.
don't know where they live, and allegedly I don't know really what happened. We're just saying Wagwan for real. Like, is it because he an environment, like because somebody who's listen, I know he probably had a pampered life
Of
in some
course he
shape or
did.
form,
Of
unless
course
we
he did.
find out otherwise, but
He didn't
you know what
have
I
the
mean.
same life that Papoose and Remy had.
Yeah, at the very least, yeah.
Tell you that much. And when you tell me, like, when you think of someone who is a contractor for murder,
Mm.
right? You think of someone who's more grimy, who's in the
Yep.
street already, who doesn't have, who's just trying to, who's just trying to
Right.
make
That's
it, who's just
another
trying to
thing.
survive.
Wagwan for real, being a celebrity, being a murder fry. Like, what the
Like,
heck?
I'm not
You
understanding
can't
what's
even do that properly
happening.
as a child of a celebrity.
Right? Like, this is what I'm trying to make sense of. And I'm gonna have to keep my ear to the ground. We're gonna have to, follow this story. It's going to be popping for the next little while. Anywho, I
Mm.
don't think we're going to be able to hear anything other than this situation, because it taken a lot of people by surprise. I know it took me by
Yep.
surprise when they said murder. I was like, okay, oh, he must have been in the club,
Mm.
21. Somebody talked to him sideways. He popped him. Okay, no, I'm hearing murder for hire. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
what happening?
Mm-hmm.
What is happening? This just doesn't feel right. I feel really bad for this young man, because it's unfortunate, because we don't know what he could have been. Now we know what he is. He's a
Well,
murderer.
everything is alleged. We don't know. Allegedly.
Allegedly, we're gonna
Okay.
keep that allegedly going.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're gonna go into the next. Remy, I don't know, Remy, girl,
Mm.
call up a lawyer. Make sure you get him the best lawyer you can find that money can buy, and hopefully this young man can keep him his freedom. But in the meantime, we're gonna go on into the call out.
The call out.
Yes, so this call out, this is where we put each other in the hot seat and we ask each other particular questions that we're going to answer. And so for this episode, what we're going to do is finish off our episode with the call out. And so we're not going to have a workout this week around, but please, check on us another time for the workout. Go back in previous episodes and listen to a workout or two. But in terms of today, we will start our question. I'll start. So I'm not entirely musically inclined, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can hold a tune, I can
Mm-hmm.
sing a hum or something. But
Mm-hmm.
to be honest, I'm not musically talented. I
Okay.
can't play nothing. I can't,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately. So I thought about it today and I was like, if I could, if I was able to, what is one instrument that
Mm,
I would love to be great at? Like, I mean, like, orchestra type of
mm,
great, you know?
mm,
And I'm between a toss up. So the question is specifically,
mm.
if you could, right? What instrument would you love to be a master at? For me, it's a toss up between a saxophone and a
Mm.
guitar.
Okay. Yeah, I actually have a toss up as well,
Mhm.
and it would be the keys, whether it's keyboard or piano,
Yeah.
or let's just say piano and guitar.
Okay, okay.
So, and you know what? It's so funny. When I was in my early teens, I was obsessed with the violin. I was obsessed with the violin. But why I go to a more simpler instrument is like those instruments are the basis, like they are the foundation of any music, right?
Right.
So if you were like you said orchestra to compose, I feel like the piano, because it has so many chords and everything, it is actually one of the best instruments to compose on, as well as guitar. There's a lot of chords that
Right.
you play on one instrument. So
Yeah.
yeah, those
Mhm.
two I think are just because they're just more universal. But I
Right.
was also
Right.
obsessed with the violin as a teenager. But yeah, that's a
Right.
good question.
Okay. Okay. So that was my question. Simple and easy. Um.
Okay,
Yes. What is
so
yours for me?
I now I had a question that's related to this documentary I saw on Netflix, or I had something related to our topic on Canada's Wonderland. So I'll let you choose which one you
Well,
want me
I'll
to
go with
lean
the first
towards.
one because Canada's Wonderland. Yeah, I'm not really.
You're not a ride girl.
No, and
Okay, so we weren't.
I was holding the bags. But go
Okay,
on.
you're holding it back, so you don't have enough experience there. Okay,
Mhm.
so I was going to say, so there's this documentary that I heard about on Netflix called "Tell Them You Love Me," and it was so compelling. I was like,
Mm.
shit, I need to go watch this. So I watched it,
Mhm.
and in a nutshell, we don't have time here. In a nutshell, the core of the story, to me, the entertainment, not the entertainment, well, yeah, the entertainment or what kept me glued to the screen was in the
Mhm.
details of the story. So by me describing it, I'm not really giving it away. I think it's still very watchable without, because the
Mhm.
little things where it makes me was where I was like, ooh. So anyway, it's about a guy who's mentally challenged very severely.
Okay.
He has cerebral palsy,
Mhm.
and he's nonverbal.
Mhm.
And there's this thing for people in that community called facilitated communication.
Okay.
And facilitated communication is like, certain people, they have cerebral palsy or autism or so whatever condition they have, but
Mhm.
they're not stable. They can't, like, their hand is shaky, or their hand is
Mhm.
in, like, locked in a position where it's awkward for them to type on their own, right?
Mhm.
And so again, these people are nonverbal, so that's what facilitated communication. And what it is basically the person, that whoever's helping you, would hold your hand
Mhm.
or your finger as you type on a communication
Mhm.
device. Or back in the old times, you'd use, like, the letters on a piece of paper to spell out what you want. But now, we
Mhm.
have communication device like a typewriter, something like that.
Mhm. Mhm.
And but they said it was banned in the US for some of the bigger organizations that help these people, because it's like there's a bias. It's like, is the person you're helping saying it, or are you saying what you want them to say?
Mhm.
So anyway, long story short, I'm just context. That's the context. So long story
Mhm.
short, there's a family, a single mother, and her son. They're older now, and this is their adult son. And the son sees this lady's work and says, "Oh, I want," he talks and about, to this woman, and she agrees to help them. So he has somebody helping him type to communicate now, where he could
Mhm.
never communicate before, and he's getting better and better at reading and saying these things or whatever. So they think,
Mhm.
"Oh, it's working." Fast forward now, they find out the lady comes and says she falls in love with him, and she's sleeping with the guy. Okay,
Mm-mm.
I have to fast forward because really I'm getting to the
Mhm.
crux of the question. And they go to court, and she gets arrested. And the thing that's jarring, again, it's still worth watching, is she doesn't really think she did anything wrong. So
Oh.
it's an interesting story. But I saw the person that the YouTube video I saw talking about the movie had an opinion. And so
Mhm.
now, back to the point of the call out. Here's my question:
Mhm.
do you think if somebody, particularly a man,
Mhm.
is disabled, and it was came out that he was actually, I won't say the level that he read until after,
Mhm.
that he's disabled, he can't communicate, and this woman now, because he has a close relationship with her and he's communicating and he's showing that he does have some type of inner voice,
Mhm.
and he just expresses a desire, and she says
Mhm.
she's in love with him. Okay, that's a whole next thing. Do you think she was wrong and should be arrested and basically taken away from him? Because now the mother's like, now she awoken up something in him, and something he wasn't doing before. Now he's always trying to masturbate and do all these things because
Oh.
he woken something up in him,
Yeah,
right?
he's tapping into his malehood.
Yeah. But
Mhm.
but there's some people are like, oh, let him have it, right? But I'm still like, no, I think
Mhm.
she was wrong,
Mhm.
and I think it was sexual assault. But
Mhm.
some people are just like, well, yeah, maybe they did get closer. Obviously, he doesn't get no woman,
Mhm.
so it's like
Mhm.
he's lucky that he got somebody to give
Mhm.
that to him. So, what do you think? What's your opinion?
Well, I think that with the context you gave me,
Hmm.
that was an abuse of power.
There you go.
It was an abuse of power because you're in a position where he needs your assistance to even
There you go.
express that
There
inner
you go.
voice, right?
There you
So
fucking
now it
go.
could be questioned, was it his inner voice or was it
Right?
you, right? So now here's the thing, right? And I side with what you're saying. But
Hmm.
here's the thing is that at what point would this young man be able to experience love?
That's the thing.
Right?
That's what she said. Yeah,
That's
exactly.
the part is that
Hmm.
we can say that about everybody because
Hmm.
he's a vulnerable person, and so
Yeah.
it could be said about anybody and everybody that comes into his life that there could be a using going on, or that there
Hmm.
could be um, an insertion of power in his life,
Hmm.
because he can't do it himself, right?
Yes. Yeah.
um, and in that respects, I can understand that he does deserve the chance and opportunity to experience love, but I feel like it should be genuinely,
Mm.
and it shouldn't start from a place of pain, because you're obviously being paid to do a job,
Hmm.
right? So it can be argued, did you start having feelings for him
Hmm.
right off the rip and were willing to walk away from the job? Or
Mm.
were you using the job, and now because you're around in close quarters with him, you see how you can manipulate him,
Right. That's
right?
and again, we can't fully talk about it until you watch it. So
Right.
I know you have Netflix. So if you have
Yes, I
time,
do. Now I know.
I
I'll
would
look it
I would
up.
recommend it. It's an interesting debate. So I agree with you, and I think I was going to just close off on um. So in the trial, this is what made it, like,
Mhm.
took me over the edge,
Mhm. Mhm.
because she's thinking, yeah, he's doing this. Remember, she's the one controlling his hand, so
Right.
and maybe she fully believed it. But so she's thinking, yeah, he just, he had a voice, he's saying these things, and he sounded very intelligent, and blah 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 blah. They had a specialist come and ask him. They put this stuff in front of him to pick it. He had the intellectual capacity of not more than 2 or 3 years old.
So,
So
yeah.
I was like, oh shit, no, right?
Right.
So it was interesting. But anyway, yeah, yeah. So it was hard. I think she was in a place of control and manipulation and a complete delulu. But again, so that was a but
And
I
if he has the mental capacity of a 2 or 3 year old, then it can be argued that it's not necessarily a romantic love that he has for you,
just, yes, it's
and
just,
that
yeah,
it's just a
physical
general, like, you're
curiosity.
kind to me, right?
Yeah.
Like when you're kind to children, right? Okay, if you ever see a child,
That's true. That's a good point.
When you look at a child, say you give them a balloon, right?
Hmm.
And you're a perfect stranger and you hand them a balloon. Their tendency of wanting to show you love
Yeah.
is higher at that
Y-
point. So
yes,
they
you're
want
right.
to give you a hug, or they'll give you a high five, or they'll give you a smile,
Hmm.
right? So their walls come, they don't even have walls at 2 and 3, right? And so, people are not bad. They're not born bad. It's the people that raise them that turn them into that. So
Hmm.
naturally, a child at 2 and 3, if that's his mental capacity, would naturally, you're helping me, you're kind to me, so I'm going to show you affection.
Hmm.
Or I'm going to show you, this is my way of showing you that I appreciate you when you think of a child.
Yeah.
So it can be argued, and now I'm intrigued, but
Yes.
it
I
could
would
be
love to
argued
hear your opinion on it. Yeah.
that, definitely she's taking advantage of the power dynamic,
Hmm.
and she
There you
knows that
go.
she can. And who's going to debate her?
Well, yeah, I'm not
Right.
gonna ruin any more. That was of it.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
anyway,
But
yeah, that's it.
yeah, but overall, this is an awesome show. It was awesome being able to talk about these topics. And so, with that said, we're going to wrap up our show, and we do hope that your hearts and minds were activated on this week's show. So, whether you lead with your heart or your mind, please stay passionate and thoughtful, and we'll talk to y'all real soon. Bye.
Bye.